Hi, I'm Michael Jenkins. I'm the chef of Butter Restaurant, Lola Taverna in Little Prince. I've been working for Butter for a very long time. I grew up in the Midwest, and I've been in New York for the last 16 years or so. And my mother likes to say that I learned to cook out of self-defense because I worked for a single working mom, and we ate, food was plentiful, but it was not good food. My mom does not know how to cook. And so I picked up a few books and I started falling in love with it. And eventually I discovered that I wasn't really interested in other things, So I made the big move to New York. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, whatever they say. So I'm going to start by grinding the prosciutto, which is going to be at the very base of my recipe. I slice from the meatiest part of this side of the chuck and then turn that into a big fat dice. Part of the reason why this is a fun recipe for any home cook is that your knife skills don't really matter. As long as everything's small enough to fit through the meat grinder, you're okay. All right, so to add to the luxuriousness of this ragu, I'm using a little bit of barely cooked bone marrow instead of olive oil to get this recipe started. So there we go. Like I said, a very, very healthy, lean recipe. Immediately, it already smells like beefy, beefy, beefy. I'm gonna add that ground prosciutto. It's gonna melt away to almost nothing. It's also creating that beautiful fond at the bottom of the pan. Now, all the vegetables. Garlic, fennel, carrots, celery, and onion. So next I'm gonna add my tomato paste. Now that this is at a nice sizzle, the vegetables are slightly cooked and translucent, I'm using double concentrated tomato paste. This is the sweetness, this is the acid. Really cook the tomato paste. Now that the tomato paste is caramelized, I'm gonna add my aromatics. So chopped thyme, chopped rosemary, some lightly crushed fennel seed, and a little red pepper flake so that it's not boring. Now for the beef. It's so wonderfully fatty that it's going to turn white instead of gray as we start to cook it. Now I'm going to deglaze with a little red wine. Not a lot. And now the secret weapon. We made a little bit of beef stock. This one happens to be made from veal bone and a little bit of Wagyu beef bone. So the last step, you're going to take your ragu that's now been simmering, and we're going to add a splash of milk, a little bit of aged balsamic, cook the pasta to your preferred al dente. All right. The pasta, really get to know the sauce. Let some of that starch emulsify with the ragu. Just a little bit of cheese. Like the garlic, you really want to take it easy on the cheese, because don't worry, we'll put more on top afterwards. Approachable peasant recipe, but it's been elevated by the use of bone marrow and this amazing high quality Wagyu beef. So the theme is luxury meets simplicity. I would recommend for people that want to eat Wagyu for the first time, try my recipe. You're just going to notice an extremely tender, luxurious, flavorful sauce on your pasta. Super approachable, anybody can go for it. And if you're truly a meat lover, which chances are you appreciate beef, if you're willing to buy some of this quality product, I would recommend salt and pepper, seared in a pan, roast in the oven. Don't do too much. You really want to taste the beef, and you don't need to do a lot to this beef to get a ton of flavor.